So, recording now with the Vivo X200 Ultra in this studio setup. Last time I was trying out the Xperia 1 Mark VI and set this one up to record in this studio kind of setup. So what do you think about this setup here? Using the 35mm lens of the X200 Ultra and Pro mode with noise reduction turned off and manual white balance, a bit warmer than what I had here on the Xperia, because the Xperia's sensor are a bit warmer, is a bit warmer by default. So I turned it down a little bit in terms of warmth here. And yeah, what do you think about this one here? Does it work? And now even more interesting, because now I am using the ultra wide angle 14mm, but not in its default higher stabilization mode, in this lower stabilization mode, which is giving me an even wider field of view. And I think this could be also pretty useful and usable, especially if I want to show you certain things here from my desk and my shelf. You can see where I'm going. You can still hear me because I'm using this mic. Still a bit low, even though the mic is like set to the highest output there. And I can get quite close in showing you things here, like this one, in more detail. So you can see this nice Sony camera here. So yes, the Vivo lineup of devices, and it's not only the X200 Ultra, but also the X200 Pro that I really like to use, especially for vlogging, because we have this very nice image sensor here for vlogging that is 24mm, which gives you a nice background blur if you don't want to show too much of your background. And if you want to have nighttime better cameras, the 1-inch type sensor of the X100 Ultra is still there. And it is also a fantastic camera. And all of them can be used and combined because we have the portrait video mode. And this portrait video mode is mind-blowing for me. And it's one of the best features of those special Vivo phones because of one single thing that you can do with them. You can apply a LUT immediately, directly onto the footage. And it stays at 4K 30. 4K 60 sadly not, but 4K 30. It stays at 4K 30 with a custom-made LUT that you can just apply to it. And so if I have one LUT that I put here, here, and there, I have the possibility to get the same kind of video quality out of all of those three cameras and specialize on certain things that this one is a little bit better on with the 1-inch type sensor. And then this one with the periscope zoom eventually is a little bit better. Very, very fantastic, very, very flexible. And all of them can also do record in Pro video mode, where I can set my white balance to the right thing, where I can turn off the noise reduction for the video so that we don't get this mushy kind of noise reduction enabled in video when I'm in an indoor situation, just like this one here. So this is pretty damn cool, isn't it? Yes, it is. And this is what makes Vivo currently probably the best camera smartphone, not only for photos, but also for video. Sadly, not for video by out of the box video, where I just say, I want to do a video, and then yes, you can get by with this video quality here. But at one point you have like this mustard kind of colors in your face that makes you rub your face because you think you have mustard on your face. No, it's just like the default video mode in capture here is not the best on the Vivo phones. But the manual settings and menu controls are top notch for sure. Not only on this one here, like I said, if you don't want the X200 Ultra that I'm having, the global version X200 Pro is there. Very nice indeed as well still. And if you want to get even cheaper but want to have a 1-inch type sensor for low light capabilities here, the X100 Ultra is also still there, which is also doing an excellent job. I was using this in China when I was recording some of my videos there, and I really, really like this for sure. Yeah, so Vivo phones can also be used for a studio setup like this. I have just an external wireless mic. This is the newest CM31 that I'm using here right now, because I have less issues with the CM31 than I have with the Boya Mic 2 that for some reason has some issues with the Vivo phones. I'm not sure why, what's going on there. The Vivo phones don't like this mic too much, but I have a very big issues with all of those phones, not the X100 Pro, but that one I sold already, that has proper solid volume for the mics, but those here for some reason don't have it anymore. So the volume is always too low and I have to crank it up in post, because no matter how high I set the volume on the receiver, it is still a bit too low for the default ACG on the phone. So something you have to keep in mind when it comes to wireless microphones that you want to use with your Vivo phones. And this is a big issue because I like this Boya Mic 2 so much, but sadly the Vivo phones have issues with it, and this is something that I will have to regret. But yeah, then I can have alternatives just like the CM31 that I'm using here right now. The only thing I have to do the CM31, or not have to do, but I like doing, is turning on the noise reduction. This one here on the Boya is fantastic for filtering out, because using AI, filtering out all the noises around you. Very nice system here. Also wind noises can be filtered out, so you can forget the wind furry. This one has the wind furry on here, and this one is great as long as you don't have it too quiet, because then you have to turn on the noise reduction, because there's a noise floor that, especially as I have to raise the volume quite up here, it gets a bit exaggerated and can be a bit disturbing then. So this is why I have the noise cancelling here on. So my voice might sound a bit robotic, but this is just because of I want to have a good sound quality. Anyway, this is my setup here, Vivo X200 Ultra studio setup. Is it possible as well to do it with Vivo? Many people asked me after I did the video with Sony. Yes, you can do it also with Vivo. It doesn't feel so camera-like as on the Sony. And the Sony has a bit of a specific flair. I think even in Pro mode here, the Vivo tends to over-sharpen a little bit and tends to make it look more like a smartphone, where the Sony looks more like a bit washed out, but more like a natural camera. It's just a feeling that you will get there. And autofocus is way better on the Sony. Still, no one is beating the autofocus. This one here, even using the ultra wide angle, if I don't have this make it wider button turned on, the autofocus is always like when I zoom in into the video without starting the video on the phone itself, I always see my face out of focus. I don't know what's going on. So there are two things that you can do, and this is important when you want to vlog, not in the static studio mode, but you want to vlog by holding it somewhere. Hold it a bit closer. If you hold it a bit closer, yes, your face might look a bit weird, but then it's focusing on your nose and your eyes eventually. But otherwise, if you hold it too far away, it might get hyperfocal, and then everything is in focus, the background, and you should be as well. But if you zoom in, you are not really in focus. You're slightly out of focus, which is, the typical, what I said, the typical kind of action cam look that you had with cameras like the Sony here. Or sometimes also with this one that has autofocus, but the single autofocus, and if you miss this, it's just something that you have to keep in mind. Otherwise, this shutter speed here is also an issue if you set it to automatic, because you can see already when I'm like moving around a little bit there that I get like completely blurry and weird in my face. This is when you set the shutter speed to automatic. Something that it suffers a little bit more than the Sony, I think. So keep that in mind. Maybe if you want to do vlog and talk, raising the shutter speed here on this device is then helpful not only for this dim lit kind of situations, but also when there's no sun out. Sometimes you might get like a bit of blurry shots with the stabilization, having some issues there. But yeah, overall here, I like this setup a lot, and I could also imagine using this as a studio setup. So just you know, all Vivo fanboys, actually maybe you should call yourself ZEISS lens fanboys if you want to put Sony and Vivo fans together. Oh my god, what I'm doing now. World War III. No, anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Write down in the comment section what do you think about this setup in comparison to the previous video, the Sony setup. I put the link down below somewhere. And which one would you like to see for my studio setup if I'm doing indoor studio talking kind of nonsense that I'm doing right now, for example? Would you like to see rather me using the Sony setup with the Sony microphone, or would you rather like me to use the Vivo with the newer microphone here? And maybe I can't even use a Sony mic with this one, but this one is working a little bit nicer. So what do you think? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Short little video. Until the next time, arrivederci. Bye. Bye. And then there should be like a button to stop this recording, but I'm not sure if it's working.